Hello, you beautiful bunch of people. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Rebecca Burgess, and I'm the founder and current Mother Priestess of the Temple of Clonmore. This is my little it was supposed to be a Yule gift to you all, but then I just went into pure hibernation mode, as I hope you all did too. And I've just started to awaken with Imbolc now, crawling out of my cave. So this is my happy Imbolc gift to you guys. This is a free 11-month reading for 2024. So we'll pull a card for each month, and I'm using the Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle deck. Very gorgeous, very pretty. One of my favorites. So this kind of reading usually goes up on the Temple's Patreon, where depending on what tier you're on, you will get weekly healings. You can get monthly oracle or tarot card messages for the collective, and I mean the Patreon collective specifically, not the collective as every human in existence at this time. You also get guided meditations, really powerful activations once a month at least, and channeled messages every month that are just entirely for you, your individual self, you, yes, you. So yes, if you want to have more of these kind of readings, these insights, or just explore more of what this temple has to offer, you can head to the link in my bio and there'll be the Patreon there. And there's loads of different price points, loads of different things and options for you there. So go and have a gander once you've had your cup of tea with me and we've pulled a card for each month of the year. So usually when I'm doing these like monthly readings, it's at least like 3 or 4 cards per week of the month. So I won't do that to you. I won't pull 52 groups of 4 cards. My maths was never strong. If you can do the maths, you figure out the comments. I'm not going to do that to you. What I will do though is a card for each month of this year. So what will happen with the collective watching this video in February 2024? One card. Ooh, okay, I think I will pull them all and then lots of very like solar plexus energy coming through. February, March, April, May, one of my favorite months. June. Very sacral, not sacral, solar plexus, sorry. March, April, May, June. July. August. September. October. November. And December. So let us begin. So for February, oh, it's one of my favorite cards in this deck. We have the Fairy Love. Follow your heart. I'm trying to get something off my screen and hope that it's not been on your screen this whole time. Nope. Hopefully it was on your screen. So, fairy love, follow your heart. This is such a beautiful card. So as I'm talking into the card, hopefully you can hear me. Beautiful card, beautiful energy. There is this real sense already coming in. I mean, I'm recording this at the very sleepy beginnings of February. There is this sense already of this, a deep truth surrounding relationships, and relationships of any caliber, of any kind. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, even though this beautiful couple are very romantic. Doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. In a lot of my private readings that I do for my clients, whether it's been a relationship reading or not, relationships have been important within the reading to kind of aid or kind of assist in other parts of people's lives as well. So it is quite a big theme at the moment for a lot of people, whether that's intentional or just unconsciously kind of burrowing in the background. So this month I feel for the collective, and by collective for this reading, I mean anybody who watches this video in 2024. For you collective, this collective, it's this real, it's like a blossoming of truth when it comes to relationships. It's knowing what you want, it's knowing where you stand, it's knowing what you deserve, and trusting in that you know what you deserve. That tracks, if that makes sense to you. Those that it makes sense to, it makes sense to, I suppose. It's this real, it's this heart opening mother lover kind of axis energy. This idea of mothering yourself in a way where you're like fierce mother bear, or you know, unconditionally loving yourself. And then also the lover aspect of knowing your worth and making decisions, making bold gestures, hopefully of the romantic nature, because they're my favorite. Hopefully making bold gestures in alignment with your worth and you knowing your worth. And also deepening into what comes with that. It's this aspect of beauty returning. And obviously beauty is a somewhat subjective thing. So beauty will mean something very different to me than it means to you. Beauty to me right now means happiness and peace and birdsong. Happiness to you could mean all three of your kids getting A's. Happiness is, you know, wildly different to each and every person. But it's finding that beauty in life and allowing the beauty in those moments of kind of like serene pleasure to wash over you and into you, and that will help you align even greater with the truth of what you want from relationships as a whole in your life moving forward into the rest of the year. So then for March, ooh, we have the Arthur Continuum, Seek the Guide with Noble Ideals. I love that painting. Gorgeous. Seek the Guide with Noble Ideals. Initially, like usually when this card comes up, it kind of denotes some sort of mentorship or teacher or something. But I'm not somebody who tends to read cards by the book. It's always very intuitive. So that card means something wildly different to me now, as it has done in most of the readings. This idea of seeking the guide is seeking the guide within. You are your own mentor. You come to realize that you are your own mentor in March this year. Perhaps you do start a new course or a new body of work, or there's something where you need or desire a mentor, guide, or teacher of some kind. But it's how that person helps you that makes you realize, like, they empower you to learn your own lessons with them as the guide. You know, there might be like a solid curriculum that they have to follow, for example, but within each module or lesson or life lesson, whatever it may be, within each intrinsic thing, this teacher kind of expertly, I don't even think it's a conscious thing, and I think for some of you they could come across as quite arsey, but this teacher will kind of expertly weave in moments of empowerment for you where either they're a good teacher and they say, cool, these are all the facts. These are all the things I think. What do you think? You go and figure out how you feel about this, and we'll have a discussion and we'll figure it out together. Or they're a bad teacher where they try to disempower you and tell you, I'm only telling you the facts. I'm telling you how I feel, my opinion are actually the facts as well. And I'm not going to have a discussion about it. I'm just telling you opinions as facts. So you go away and do your own research, or you go away and, you know, feel unsettled and want to do your own kind of musing on whatever the topic is. So that's definitely, in one way or another, you'll find yourself empowered when it comes to your education, empowered when it comes to your ability to learn and to progress in your education, whether that's a spiritual education, a higher education. You know, we're kind of thinking about working up to exams, at least here in the UK schools, at least when I was at school, we were doing mock GCSEs and A levels from the dawn of time, it felt like. So you will probably be doing mock exams there as well. It's how you become, you're very empowered in your education, how you think, how you learn, how you progress. You'll accept and embrace and excel at all of those things in March. So then April, ooh, adapt to a new situation. Oh, I love this deck so much. So in January, February, March, April, adapt to a new situation. This feels like a different topic. You know, obviously we've had relationships, we've had education. This feels like another separate topic that kind of, what I'm seeing is this year is a lot like a solar system of kind of sorts. You're the central sun. And at one point, you know, this planet of relationships moves very close to you and then it disappears for a little bit because things have been resolved there. And then the planet of education comes a bit closer into focus. And it's just that's where your attention needs to be. And then this is a new situation, a new planet that's kind of coming around for your attention. It's almost like we're going back through different areas of our lives, at least in this beginning part of the year. We'll see what the rest looks like. But we go back through to kind of really fully establish wisdom that we've learned from similar aspects in the past 5 years, and to really, there is some kind of karmic thing happening. And now some of y'all freak out when I say karma. I think karma is delicious. I love karma. I think karma is what we think it to be. This is maybe controversial. Can't lead to the frog in my throat. It's controversial. Maybe controversial in the sense that I don't believe karma is inherently a good or a bad thing to experience. Like, I know what my opinion of good karma for me is, and that's just me receiving all the beautiful, wonderful, lovely things that this existence has to offer. And I know what bad karma is for me personally, but it's my ego that attaches those very human and necessary labels of good karma and bad karma, whereas karma is very just intrinsically without goodness or badness. It just is karma. It just exists as is. There is no egoic or human labels attached to it other than what we decide to put on it. So if you constantly tell yourself that, because I mean, I'm no astrologer, so what I say next could make no sense, but you can be convinced that you're having a period of bad karma or experiencing a period of bad karma because Pluto's retrograde in your 10th house. I don't know. I wish I knew more about astrology. Or whatever astrological things going on, you know, like you're convinced because something else is happening outside of you, kind of against your will almost, that it's bad karma. Sometimes absolutely shit things happen, but it's a relief to me to think it's just the ego putting a human label on a spiritual act of, and it's I think karma is a gift from the gods, whether it's good or bad. At least I tell me that in my times of darkest karma, I'm like, this is good, like rocking in a corner. So take my philosophical musings with a pinch of salt, because whilst I believe that, I'm not expecting you to believe that. You don't have to. And I've gone way off piece too. And yeah, sometimes when I'm experiencing what you might call bad karma, I'm crying, I'm not happy, I'm calling it bad karma. Not all the time. And sometimes I have to remind myself it's just the name we give it. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. So yeah, take that as it is. But yeah, this beginning of the year anyway does feel very kind of, could be karmic. It's not quite as heavy as a purge, but it's this like a gentle wave of like a karmic cleanse, like just washing off the dust of the past 5 years to kind of leave you karmically stripped bare, a little bit vulnerable, but very just in the moment, very present with your existence in this lifetime. So in January, very much April, adapt to a new situation. We're bringing it back on track. Adapting to a new situation. This is where a proverbial spanner gets thrown in the proverbial works. It's, you know, let's say you have April completely planned out. You know precisely what you're doing, when you're doing it, who you're doing it with, and it's probably, that would be really good for my anxiety. Whenever it flares up, like, I like to have a plan. So you probably feel quite good about whatever plans you have in April. And something cocks them up, but not in a catastrophic way, not in like a, you can't go and actually do this really wonderful, fun thing, or you can't go and experience this amazing opportunity that you've, you know, booked years ago, whatever. It's, I feel like it's the journey, it's not the destination that's got the spanner, it's the journey from where you are to where you need to be in April. And this could be very physical, you know, like tangible spanner in the works, as in, you know, if you have to travel somewhere, there could be disruption to travel. Maybe there's like strikes or something around then that come back. I'm not too hot on the strikes at the moment, but maybe there is something in April in terms of strikes, at least here in the UK, if not maybe America as well, I'm feeling, North America, in Europe. Maybe something with France and travel, or their kind of network there leaves delays all over Europe. There's something there for the collective anyway. Yeah, it's the journey there. Or if you're not going anywhere in particular in April, it's the journey within. It's the journey from where you are on the first day of April, and who, you know, you might be trying to manifest something, or work on yourself in a particular way in April, and by the end of April, you're not where you were at the beginning, but you're not where you thought you'd be either. You're some kind of way over here that's just as wonderful but different, and it only hits you kind of towards the end of the month where you're like, oh, actually, this is weirdly going to plan, but not at all going to plan. So that is April. May is one of my favorite months. Ooh, with good reason, it would seem. A new door is opening. Step over the threshold. Gorgeous. So whatever kind of inner work you did in yourself, whether, like I said, it's conscious or unconscious, whatever inner work you did on yourself in April, you'll reap the rewards of that in May. You know, you will have released a lot of emotional and energetic blocks. You'll have made yourself renewed and new. You will have been reborn in some way. But it's all a very gentle energy. You know, sometimes rebirth can be very like sticky and messy, and like you just want to nap all the time. This is very gentle rebirth. It's again, I think this is the end of that kind of karmic cleansing to then go into the rest of the year with, we'll see what awaits us. But yeah, this feels like the new year. May feels like the new year, in the sense that you've done all the work on yourself in spring and winter. You're more established and more secure in your relationships. You're more established and secure in your own power. You've learned how to go with the flow a bit more. You've learned patience. Patience is another really big theme in my private client readings at the moment as well. So that's probably something for the collective as a whole also. So May, let's have a look at June. Ooh. A deep secret will come to light. Rosalind Remembrance. I love that painting so much. This is such a deep truth within you. If we think back to February, where I was talking about the truth of how you want to kind of exist in your relationships, that kind of comes back almost full circle in June, in the sense that you'll drop down even deeper into your truth this time, but it will be grounded. Now you will be grounded, you will be secure, you will be more comfortable in whatever your truth is. I feel like in February we're kind of like flirting with the truth. We're kind of like, ooh, I mean, I think this is what I want. I'm not sure. Let's explore, let's wander, let's lose ourselves to the adventure of human emotions. And then it comes to June, and we kind of, something will happen where we emotionally or perhaps physically circle back to that moment in February that makes us see how much we've progressed. And it's almost just to let you see whatever happens in June is almost just to let you see how far you've progressed already in, like, not even 6 months. It's to help you be sure of how you want to kind of exist in the world, and particularly existing in relationships with other people, whether that's a lover, a friend, family, colleague, whoever. And it feels like it's a moment for just you and yourself to exist with this truth. It's not necessarily something that you have to kind of go out there and set all these boundaries and assert all this confidence. It's not necessarily something you have to kind of project out into the physical. It's just an inner acceptance of, this is my truth. And luckily for most of you, how your relationships are already existing, or more rather how you are already existing within your current relationships, already aligns with your truth because of all the work you've been doing in the months previous. You're kind of naturally aligning with your truth anyway as you kind of go. It's kind of an organic thing that's happening as you traverse through the months. But yeah, a real grounding of your truth and acceptance of your truth. Let's do July. I've had a sip of tea. Lots of truth stuff. Ooh. So we have Angel of Truth, reveal the truth that has long been hidden. So this is July. I think whatever truth we grounded into in June is still very much at the front of our minds, or at least swirling around our peripherals in a way that is very noticeable and somewhat distracting. And now is the time, if there's any kind of physical way to enact this truth, like I said before, maybe it's setting boundaries, maybe it's only going on dates with men that buy you flowers on the first date or whatever. It's now time to enact those and make them a reality by telling people or changing. This is more about how you exist in relationships in your life. So perhaps it's changing the way that you exist and how you communicate or show your love, or whatever it may be, that is an aspect of your truth. Now is the time to put it out there, and you'll be so surprised the second you start doing that. It will, I think going into that first moment of being like, I just want you to buy me flowers once a week, that's all I want, is that it feels like the bare minimum, but I'm too scared to ask for the bare minimum. I don't know. When you go to make that kind of big leap into, asking for what your truth is when it comes to love and relationships and all their forms, you'll be scared because you think this is the end of love. Me asking or enacting or whatever, me laying out my truth so bare and so vulnerably will be the end of love as I know it. And that is correct. Hear me out, to a certain extent. It is correct in the sense of, as you have always known it. What actually happens, it's like love has always been this big kind of, I don't know, like cliff face almost, that's impenetrable. You can't climb it, you can't dig underneath it, you can't walk around it. It's just big wall. There's maybe one particular relationship, or it could be like relationships, like it could be past lovers, it could be siblings, like, a group of relationships. Yeah, this love has been felt somewhat impenetrable. And the second you go, actually, I want a dozen red roses every week on a Thursday morning in bed. That's what I want. That's what my soul wants. That's what I need. The moment you speak that into existence to whomever it's relevant to speak it to, what actually happens is the cliff face kind of vanishes into like mist and foam, and it's replaced by this giant waterfall of just pure love, the love that you've always been worthy of, but only in the work that you've done leading up to July do you find yourself and know yourself to be truly worthy of. So that's a very important month. It's the month you start asking for what you deserve. And if you're not getting it from certain people, you go, that's cool. You're not the person for me then on the next leg of my adventure in life. I'll find someone who is, and you're very confident in that. You're very secure in that. So we move on to August, arguably the best month of the year. And I say that just because it's my birthday month. Ooh, Ariadne and the Stellar Wheel, weave your own destiny. Oh, these pictures, gorgeous. God. Yes, weave your own destiny in August. Because you'll come to this very queen, king, or sovereign like energy, this very grand, empowered kind of vibe. And I'm digging it. It suits you. You look good in it. Because you're in that new energy that's much more settled, grounded, secure, and confident, and empowered in your confidence and kind of in your whole existence. You're much better, you're in a much more established place mentally, spiritually, and perhaps physically to really begin to co-create your realm, if we're going with like the sovereign analogy. You know, how do you want your reality to look and feel? How do you want people to feel when they leave your presence after being around you? How do you want people to remember you, if you want to be remembered? How it's all hows. How do you want to ... And because of your kind of more established position, it'll be so much easier for you to co-create that existence then in August than it would be now, for example. It doesn't mean it's impossible now. It just means come August, however easy or hard you think it feels now, it will be so much slicker and smoother. It's like if manifestation had charisma, and it's very attractive. Talk. I don't have charisma. If if manifestation had charisma and was suave and was that gorgeous man in the bar that like slides a drink across to you, it's like maybe that's not suave. That's probably icky actually, but you get my drift. Maybe it's not. Depends on the man, doesn't it? And that's the point. It depends on the vibe of the person as to whether we enjoy their charisma or not. And it's very much that kind of vibe of you, again, how you've demanded to receive your worth from relationships the month before in July. It's very much demanding your worth now from the universe. It's you saying, hey gods, I've done all this work. I'm really comfortable in myself. I'm really proud of myself. I'm in a really wonderful, beautiful position, in part thanks to you. So let's join forces. Let's start a new business venture. Let's start a book club. Whatever your reality wants to look like. It'll be very much kind of, I feel like a little bit kind of trickster energy, but in a really like beautiful, playful, like flirting with the cosmos kind of way. Like, that moment of conception where in an ideal world, the moment of physical conception is in amongst some of the most pleasurable experiences of your life. It's that idea of flirting with the universe, being like, let's make a business venture together. Shall we co-create? Shall we conceive something together? It's that kind of flirting with the universe. And very, for most of you, I think your sexual desires and your sex drive and your natural rhythms will increase greatly if they're not already kind of naturally high anyway. So a very, very good month. I love that for my birthday month. Very happy. Then we have September. Ooh, have hope for the future. Nope. Have hope for the future. New energies are coming in. Lovely. So much. I think the karmic cleansing that happens in the first 3-4 months of the year does leave you with this kind of lots of newness, lots of opportunities, lots of space for growth and expansion and rooting and rebuilding of foundations. And because of that, we're constantly having lots of new beginnings. But a bit like if we go back to the solar system analogy or metaphor, it's, okay, like planet of love passed us by to be karmically cleansed in the beginning of the year. And then middle of the year, it comes back around in this time. Ooh, we can look at things a bit differently. And it's like that with the new beginnings, like whatever planet rules new beginnings. I don't know. That kind of comes back round for us to kind of dive into and explore that for at least that month, if not beyond as well. So in September, again, going back to school maybe, or beginning school again, going back to school in some way. But I think for most of us, it will be this new beginning is very much feeling a lot of kind of like womb lingam space energy. So it's that idea of creation. It's that idea of, it's not so much the pleasure and the flirtation in like a metaphorical creation in September. It's, I think you have already conceived what's next, coming next for you. I mean, for a minute few of you, this could be an actual conception of an actual child. But I think for most of us, it's more a spiritual conception. It's more of an ideation of a conception. So yes, in September, you'll kind of think of yourself as the first trimester. I mean, I've never had a first trimester yet, so I can't really describe it, but my friends have had them. I know what a rough time they had, and everything was, especially with their first baby, everything is new and weird and scary and just kind of sucks on the most part, because none of it makes sense, because it's your first child, it's your first time doing this, it's your first time becoming a mother. How are you meant to know what you're doing, or how are you meant to know what's a normal symptom, what isn't, and so on and so forth? So it's that kind of, it's not unsureness that's coming through in September, but it's that kind of uncomfortability, but excitement at the same time. It's that at the end of this is this really beautiful, amazing thing. But right now, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go and ask for help if we want help. Let's go and just try and figure it out. Let's, all these different avenues kind of open up to you. And there's no right or wrong avenue. It's just whatever you feel is the best avenue to take for you, to kind of gain more clarity and more understanding about how you're creating whatever beautiful thing it is that you're creating at this time. So we have the Glastonbury Phoenix arise from the ashes of despair. So as we descend into the darkness of, was this October? Yes, into the darkness of autumn and winter, obviously people naturally just get a little bit more sad and gloomy then as well, which I completely get. The second the sun comes out in spring, I'm like, oh, I'm a different woman, I am reborn. So yeah, I completely sympathize if any of you guys get that as well. But this feels more, this is grief, and I use that word in a light sense. It won't be a heavy grief. It won't be an all-consuming, painful, bitter, acute grief. It will be very kind of gentle, bittersweet, soft kind of grief that comes in, and it's all about you grieving who you were at the beginning of this year and how you'll never be that person again, how far that version of you got yourself. You follow me? How far you went as that person, and how proud you are, and how you wish you could go back and enjoy more moments of being that version of yourself. So this is your kind of time travel-y ish message from the future, from October enjoy where you're currently at now, because quicker than you realize, it will all have changed, and you'll never be in this moment with this version of yourself again. Like that saying, you can never jump in the same river twice. You can never jump into yourself as the same version twice. You will be different in wonderful and spectacular and amazing ways that you wouldn't change, nor should you change. But you'll just have moments of like, oh, I remember when I, did A, B, and C, and things were different then, and it was really lovely, but I just didn't stop to smell the roses as much as I should have done. So take this as your time traveling message, just stop and smell the roses. October, November. Seek the symbols and decipher their meaning. Lots of Dreamtime messages coming to you all during November in very kind of in weird and unusual ways than how you usually dream. I'm getting, and this isn't my usual kind of vibe for readings, so don't take this as the kind of standard, but a lot of kind of alien dreams. Whether you believe in aliens or not is kind of irrelevant. It's more what the aliens symbolize to you or how they make you feel within the dreams that you'll be having, because they feel like consecutive or reoccurring dreams. So I'm somebody that, and I've never heard of anybody else having this, so if you have these types of dreams, let me know in the comments, because it would be really cool to share stories with each other. But where I'll have like episodal dreams. So say I go to sleep Monday night and I dream of flying into LA to meet someone, and then Tuesday night I'll kind of pick up where that dream left off at like episode 2, meeting whoever I'm going to LA to meet, and so on and so forth. So let me know if you have those dreams, because it's really cool. So yeah, whether you have like episodal or a reoccurring dream, it will somehow involve aliens, which is incredibly specific for a collective reading, but alas. And this will be, I feel it being like really funny and humorous, but also somewhat peaceful. Like it brings you quite a lot of peace to be like, well, at least I know if I dream tonight, my alien friends are going to be there and they'll have a message for me in some way or another. And yeah, it'll become like a little joke between you and like your friends or your partner or somebody. And yeah, I think that the meanings in the dreams will be very different for each of you. There's not one kind of coherent theme running throughout everyone's dreams of this kind of nature and this caliber. So it is very much a time to dig out that old dusty dream journal if you have one, or make one, or your notes app on your phone. It's time to dig out the dream dictionary and really like get to grips with your psyche and your subconscious and perhaps your astral or soul self as well, because I personally believe that in intense periods of, intense dreams, it's like astral travel in some way. So yeah, checking in with kind of all the different like mental and spiritual parts of yourself in November. And then we end 2024 with the most perfect card to end this year in. The Great Goddess, Regeneration, Death, and Rebirth. What a time to have that card. So I can feel or presume that a lot of you are kind of like, ooh, I don't like that card. Nobody likes the death card. Even like seasoned tarot readers don't really like the death card. But it is a beautiful thing. It's like that karma thing I was talking about. I know that it's a beautiful thing. Doesn't mean I'm not going to cry about it on the way though. It's that kind of vibe. This isn't as doom and gloom as it sounds. This is, again, if we're going back to the universe, solar system analogy, you know that moment in Disney's Hercules when they're talking about like when the stars align, Hades can then overthrow Hercules, and they have that they show you like the dance of the stars, like when the stars begin to like converge or align, and then it does some really cool like Disney animation stuff. It's that moment of like all the planets in the solar system all the planets in the solar system are kind of aligned perfectly with the sun, you, and it's offering this big, I feel like a very big, like opening or reopening, healing of the third eye in the crown and the soul star energy centers, and a real alignment within yourself and all your energy centers. It will start up here and like trickle down and then like be magnetized to the earth beneath you, to your earth star energy center. I don't know why I have a bug in my throat. I think because I've been doing lots of tarot readings, I've been doing lots of talking this week. Oh, thank God for tea. So, yes, so all the stars align, shedding, kind of opening here, aligning all of your energy centers together. And it offers you this really big moment of reflection. I think this December will be more quiet for most of you than perhaps your Christmases and New Year's usually are. And within that will be this really kind of beautifully prolonged period of reflection of, again, who you were beginning of this year, what journeys you've been on, what adventures you've created or been taken on, or accidentally found yourself on. Sometimes those are the best kind of adventures. What have you achieved this year? Who have you become? How have you become it? Kind of like a who, what, where, why of the year, but in a profound spiritual sense. A real, again, it's that rooting. I swear I just heard a cat in here, but my neighbour's walls are quite thin in this room, and maybe they've got a new pet cat. That was really weird. It sounded like it was under my desk with my dogs. Not even there. That guy's behind me. Okay. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Yes, the who, what, where, why of the year. A real rooting into who you are then in December, who you are now, as in then, who you are then as a person, what your life is like now. And you're so overcome with gratitude and love and pride in yourself and anybody else who has helped you get to where you are. This is such a beautiful, monumental year for the whole collective that's watching this. Let me pull one more card for like the general vibe of 2024. My only thing with these cards, which is no bad thing to be fair, is they make they're massive, but that does then also make me feel like I've got really petite little hands. You okay? So it's a good thing. Makes me feel petite and not like the Amazonian that I am. And I love being, that's not me complaining about my hands. It just makes me feel like this is what it feels like to be a tiny woman. So general vibe. Very, yeah, this makes sense. Oceana's prayer, rebirth the earth, start anew and begin again. Lovely. So with this being the general vibe, it is that idea of that kind of karmic cleansing that I was talking about, very gentle karmic cleansing. It's not like a vortex out in the North Sea that's trying to like rid you of your karma in the most aggressive way possible. It's a very like, you're floating a very still and calm ocean somewhere in like Hawaii. There's music on the wind, probably a gorgeous man on the beach, and it's just heaven. Good food, everything's just perfect and wonderful and so relaxing in this moment of cleansing the karma. And then because we've done such deep work on ourselves in such a serene way, it does open up all these new doors. It does reveal all these secrets, reveals the truths, new energies, rebirth. Yeah, this is the year we've been waiting for. You know, the kind of year that we were all hoping 2020 would be at like December 31st, 2019. We all had young, sweet summer children. We did not know the pains of the plague back then. Um, yeah, what we wanted and hoped 2020 would be. This is it now. 2024 is it. I'm going to say it quietly because I don't want to jinx it, but I think 2024 might be our year. I hope. I know. I know. So, my lovelies, I hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed doing it for you all. If you want to have, did you hear my wrist click then? Oh my God. If you enjoyed this on my clicky wrist, then you can head over to Patreon and sign up for I think it's the Merry Maidens tier and up. You will get a monthly tarot or oracle card reading that really goes in depth week by week into whatever month is just about to come up. So they're usually posted on the last day of the month, looking at the month ahead. So like February, for example, I'll post March's reading on the 29th and you'll have it there. And I think the Merry Maidens tier, which is a weekly distant healing session and a monthly reading, it's a £5 at the moment. So not a bad deal considering that my readings personally and privately range between like £30 and £40. So come on, sign up to our Patreon, get to know all the little lovely, beautiful Patreons over there. Oh, and I keep forgetting, Patreon is so amazing for the temple. I also post loads of like sneaky one-off offers there that I don't post anywhere else besides maybe like my email list. Yeah, it's fun. We have a lot of fun together over there. So this has been an absolute pleasure and an honour. I hope you've gained clarity, wisdom, reassurance, whatever you came here looking for. I hope you found it. And I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. Love to you all and blessings to you all.